Welcome to season 4 of Dog Turds into Diamonds. We are here once again, turning dog turds into diamonds with AFC Rushton and Diamonds. As you can see, it's the end of pre-season. We are ready to kick off our first season in the Vanarama North, and we are the second favourites for promotion this season. Gloucester have 5 players in the Media Dream 11. It looks like they are going to be a really strong team at 2-9 on. But hopefully we can kick up a little bit of a fuss in this division and maybe upset the apple cart. We have got at the moment Bailey Clements, the only player in the Media Dream 11 from our team, but we have made some signings. So let's get into this episode. Let's let you guys know all about what's been going on over the summer and just how the team is looking now. Yes, welcome back to Dog Turds into Diamonds, the start of season 4. After winning our first promotion, we are now in the Vanarama National League North, and we're one of the favourites for the season. And the big news to start with, unfortunately, D'Amalio Brown-Sterling has left us. I didn't offer him a new contract. I was holding off on it. You're about to see some of the signings we've made. With one particular signing, he got a little bit antsy that maybe he was being replaced. I can't really blame him because he was. And he then just decided to terminate the contract that he had with us and leave the club. It's a real shame. He played a couple of games in pre-season, was absolutely awesome. I was kind of having second thoughts about whether to let him go or not, but he's taken the decision out of my hands. It's probably a good thing. I was probably being far too sentimental. I mean, you can just see his history there. In terms of league goals, he scored an absolute hatful in his 3 seasons with us. Scored over 100 in all competitions in something, I think, just over 120 competitive games. So, I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal. He still doesn't have a new club, which is a shame. Hopefully he'll find a good home and score a lot more goals and have a good career. He certainly deserves it. But unfortunately, the man, the legend, has left us. And if I have a look, I think because we haven't had an end of season review for a couple of seasons, I don't know if he's really going to be in the Media Dream 11. But you can see he is rated as an icon, which is really nice to see. He is a club icon. Only Dale Roberts, a goalkeeper from the original Rushton and Diamonds FC, who unfortunately passed away while he was playing for the club. He is the only club legend right now. And so D'Amalio Brown-Sterling, I think he deserves that place as a club icon. And as you can see here, we have also, because Jamie O'Hara retired, Jay Williams is now our vice captain. So I just want to go and have a look at the best 11 and see if any of our players have made it in, because fantastic, they have. Because as we said, we haven't had an end of season review for 2 years. Looking at this, it is actually still the Media Dream 11 from 3 seasons ago. Not the Media Dream 11, our best 11. So our historical best 11, it is just the team from 3 seasons ago. The players that have come in since are not there. So we've got the likes of Gyasi and Furlong, Eli, Hurd, Dean Snedker. Unfortunately it hasn't updated. I kind of hope it does update with the players from the last 2 seasons at the end of this one, but that's kind of a shame. Well, anyway, let's have a look. There really is only one place to start when we go into a new season, and that's with the transfers. Let's have a look at what's been going on. You can see we have got a loan deal which might be happening. Mark Mann, a midfielder from Wrexham, and as is form for me, we don't really know anything about him, but because the loan is not costing us anything, I'm happy to just push it through and then see if we get like a nice little surprise, a bit like Christmas Day. You open your present and see what you've got. If he's not any good, we'll just send him to the U18s until Wrexham recall him. But we've got that one waiting in the wings. I mean, he's got a great first touch, and he's going to have great passing ability and great vision. He's got decent flair, and he's got good pace. So he's got the makings there of a pretty good player. So we'll see how that comes out. He wants to, or Wrexham want him to play as a deep line playmaker. Looking at his stats here, he would be ideal for that. But we'll see if the rest of it, if he chooses to come to us, because he does have a bid from somewhere else. If he chooses to come to us, we'll see if he's good enough to play a part in the first team. Outside of that, we go to transfer history, and to be honest, I have bought in more players than I was planning. I have to be honest. The only player that appears on the outs, because he's the only player that we didn't just release from his contract, is Jordan Cropper. He's gone to the Vanarama National League with Bromley. So we are down a right back. At the moment, Jim Fenlon will be continuing as our backup right back, but we'll see how that goes through the season. I'm not too bothered. Jordan Cropper, a decent backup right back for our level, but I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. So on the ins, now we've got 3 loan players in. I'm not going to talk about Matus Holicek or Glody Banza, because they've both come in from Crewe and gone straight into the under-18s, because like I say, I had no idea what sort of ability they would have. Neither of them are good enough for the first team, so we'll just leave them there until Crewe decide to recall them. Ephraim Lisk is a backup goalkeeper. He'll be the 3rd choice goalkeeper this season. He's all right, not too bad. I wouldn't have any worries about putting him in if there were injuries, if it was absolutely necessary. But don't expect to see too much of him. Now, we have got 6 players here below who have all been signed with the first team in mind. Now, the first is Jack Earing. He's going to be hanging around this season. Yeah. Jack Earing, he is not bad. He is not exceptional in anything particularly, but as a midfielder, as a box-to-box midfielder, he's got good first touch, good dribbling ability. He takes a really good long shot, good passing and vision. His positional sense is good. He's really determined. He runs all day long with that 13 teamwork. He's composed, good anticipation. I think he's just a really, really good all-round midfielder. So although he's a very different player, he is our Kalen Hazeman replacement. And I will talk about Kalen Hazeman a little bit later. So he is our Kalen Hazeman replacement. I do think, although he is a different player, he's not quite as defensive. He is really, really good for our level as an all-round, just all-round decent midfielder. You can see the last couple of seasons, he didn't play last season, but he was in League 2 with Walsall, where he does have a number of games over the years. He's even played in the Championship for Bolton in the past. So he's a player with a good little bit of quality, and he is going to be starting in our midfield this season. And I think he's going to do really, really well. I just think he's just basically doesn't really have any particular weaknesses. And that can be all you need to become a very, very good player. Lloyd Marsh Hughes, I'm really excited about him. I bought him in. We were looking for our Demalio Brown-Sterling replacement. Lloyd Marsh Hughes came up more as a midfielder. You can see he's got 13 passing, so very, very good passing. He's immediately our penalty taker with 15 penalties. But then if you look at his off-the-ball composure, anticipation, he is fantastic as a forward. I think playing as perhaps a second striker, a shadow striker, or in the forward role, he can be superb. And you can see in pre-season, he's got 4 goals and 4 assists in 6 games. And a couple of those games were playing in the number 10 role. Now, the only thing he is a little bit short on is his acceleration and pace. He's not the quickest of players, which generally I really look for in a striker. But I think playing our possession game, and with his ability to participate in that possession game with his 13 passing, I think he can really, really work out as that D'Amelio Brown-Sterling replacement. That is where I'm really thinking about playing him. You're going to see that for today's game to kick off the season, which we'll do in part 2 of this episode, he is going to play as the number 10. But I think long term, I'm looking to use him as the striker. I just think with his finishing and with those great mentals for a striker, I think he's going to do really, really well. He's also got those 11 long shots, which are very attractive in the number 10 role. So he has been playing for Chester. He's played a lot of Vanarama North. He hasn't really played above that level. So we know he's kind of a proven player at this level. Can he push on after that? I think he's got a lot of potential. I think he can do really, really well. If he can participate in the game without having that lack of speed as a weakness, I think he can be a great signing for us. James Price we looked at in the end of season review from last season. He is an ex-Chelsea striker, and I went ahead and bit the bullet and bought him in. I'm still not convinced if he is really the D'Amelio Brown-Sterling replacement, because he is a little bit lacking perhaps on his off the ball, his decisions, but his composure and anticipation are really, really good, and they go really well with his 13 first touch and his 15 finishing. 15 finishing at our level, I'm really hoping that is going to equal a hatful of goals. A little bit worried about his lack of bravery as well, just to put himself in there to get those chances. But I think he can be a great, great addition, the Chelsea man, the ex-Chelsea man now. So he's obviously left Chelsea without making an appearance. He's done okay in pre-season, 3 in 5 games, but 2 of those were penalties. Also 3 assists. So hopefully James Price can come up, and if I just go back to him, hopefully he can come up with the goods, because he is by far our highest paid player on £500 a week this season. I didn't want to lose out to another team, so I didn't want to hang around and wait for his demands to go down any further. He originally wanted about £750 a game, I think. He then accepted £500 a week. So although it does make him by about £100 a week our highest paid player, hopefully is going to be worth it. We'll see how he works out, but I'm expecting big things of James Price, the 18-year-old. Okay, here's another exciting one. Cameron Gabadeo. Cameron Gabadeo. I think I just about got it. He is a centre-back, and he's in that mould that I've really liked since last season. He is 6'3", 13 stone, really strong, but look, he's really quick, 12 pace, 10 acceleration. But the big thing with him is that 18 jumping reach and 16 determination. You can see he's played 3 pre-season games. He has already scored from a corner. I am really expecting him to be an absolute force in the centre-back position. You'll see where he fits into the team shortly, but he's also got, of course, the 13 tackling, which is great, 11 marking, 11 heading, really well-rounded centre-back for this level, and 9 passing means he can participate in our possession game as well. Then you look at his mentals, 11 positioning, 12 concentration, 10 composure, really, really good for a centre-back, 12 aggression as well. 7 anticipation is a little bit lacking, as is 9 bravery, but I think he is going to be an exceptional player for our level, and I think he could be the centre-back that starts to chip in with goals. He has been released by Manchester City. You can see he's gone from Crystal Palace to Leicester and then to Manchester City in his short career, but now the 22-year-old finds himself ready for a professional debut with AFC Rushden and Diamonds. So I'm really excited to have him in. I think he's going to be absolutely awesome. We have also got, I'm going to admit it, I made this signing just for the name, and there's no way around it. Diamond Edwards is a diamond. He is a diamond in the rough, and hopefully we are going to polish him up. He is, I think, a winger. But you can see he's really, really versatile. He can play centre midfield, number 10, or on either wing. I think he's got, apart from a lack of dribbling, I think he's got really good attributes for a winger. If we look at him as a winger here, a winger on attack, you can see the anticipation is really the only thing he doesn't have, along with the dribbling. So maybe it's just getting the ball out of his feet and crossing, or using his speed to just knock the ball past an opponent and then get that cross in. I think he is going to be absolutely great. A really, really good squad member. £350 a week, not majorly cheap, but in this division, that is actually not a lot of money. We'll look at the finances soon to see what's going on with the wage budget and everything else. But yeah, Diamond Edwards, I think he could have a big part to play over the season. So I'm pleased to have him in. All right, the last signing we've literally just made it. We had him in on trial. It's one of those Football Manager signings that you're not planning, that you're not anticipating. But when the opportunity comes up, you just have to grab it. George Ray is a 30-year-old centre-back. We've signed him for 2 years on £275 a week. He's a 5'10" centre-back, but he's got 14 jumping reach and 13 heading. He's another centre-back who could have a real good influence at set pieces. He's also got 10 passing, so again, able to participate in our possession game, 11 marking, 11 tackling, and his mentals are just out of this world for our league. 12 teamwork, 10 positioning, 10 off the ball, which is really unusual for a centre-back. 13 leadership, 14 determination, again, to get onto those headers. And then his composure, his bravery, his anticipation, his aggression, all pretty good. Lacks a little bit of pace, but not bad for a centre-back. He has come in from Dagenham and Redbridge. He's been playing League 2, League 1, Vanarama National, Vanarama South. So he's a really good, solid pro. I think he is our best defender, but he is starting today on the bench, and we're going to have to see really how much of a chance to be a starter he gets, because I'm so happy with my other two centre-backs. You know, we've got a new Twin Towers for this season, and at 5'10", he doesn't really come into that mould, but he is such an exceptional player. I might try and, I mean, he's 30, but could I maybe train him as a defensive midfielder? Could he do that? I mean, he's certainly got the ability to do it, but would he be able to take to it at this late stage in his career? So those are the signings we've made. How does that look in terms of the way the team is going to line up? If we go to our tactics, this is what we're looking at for the first game. The majority of the team is the same as last season. As we said, there was very little need to really make big changes to this squad. It was a squad that absolutely blew everybody away in the Southern Premier League. It was far too good for that league. So we knew we had a very competitive team for the Vanarama regional divisions. We're going to have Sam Blair in goal. Just an exceptional goalkeeper at our level. We now have an extra coach, which means players seem to be starting to improve a little bit with the training, which is great. Hopefully Sam Blair can continue to improve and reach that 5-star potential that he has. He's just a wonderful, wonderful goalkeeper. Delighted to have him. Jay Williams at right back, our new sub-captain, vice-captain. I'd like to get his heading up a little bit if he can improve with training as well, but he is now 23. This might be his last season as a starting right back. He might not be quite good enough for the Vanarama National League. We'll have to see how that goes, but for now he is our starting right back and vice captain. Bailey Clements at left back. He's in the Media Dream 11. Curiously, he did not get in the Media Dream 11 for the Southern Premier League last season, but he is in the Media Dream 11 for the Vanarama North. You can see he is apparently worth up to 180,000. With having gone up to this new level, the players' values have just shot up. Now, nobody at our level has got that sort of money to spend, so it's really not very likely that we're going to get this sort of big money for anybody. But I mean, if a league team came in for him and bid his value, I mean, that would clear up the club's debts. But I mean, he is, as we know, an exceptional left back. He's been great in pre-season, got 2 assists. Looking forward to seeing how he goes this season as well. So at the back, Omar Sawunmi, just our absolute giant. Omar the giant, 15 jumping reach, 15 strength, 6'7", 12 heading. I'm really hoping he starts getting in amongst the goals this season. You can see he has got one in pre-season. I really want to see him be a threat from set pieces. Now, his technical ability outside of nuts and bolts defending is not great, and the same with his mentals. If we compare him to George Ray, you can see George Ray is clearly the better defender. But I just love Omar Sawunmi so much. We'll have to see what happens there. We'll have to see who gets the starting shirt as the season goes on. But for now, I'm going to stick with Sawunmi. I just think he's absolutely fantastic. And then Gabadebo, who we have already seen, he comes in to partner Sawunmi for this first game. I just think he's going to be incredible. In midfield, so Ryan Croasdale is now going to start as the holding midfielder. He has taken King James's place. He is the better player. He just really didn't do it last season. But I'm going to have faith in him. He's had an okay pre-season. I'm going to have faith in him. We'll see how he goes. I did have another defensive midfielder down to come in during pre-season, but unfortunately he did go to another team. He accepted a different offer from the Vanarama South, which was a little bit frustrating. So Ryan Croasdale at the moment is the owner of the shirt, and he is going to be partnered by Jack Earing. Jack Earing is going to be hanging out with Ryan Croasdale. On the right wing, it's Max Waltman. There you go. We can just hover over him. You can see he's not improving with the training at the moment. Hopefully that will turn around. Absolutely fantastic last season. Scored the winning goal in the playoff final to send us up. Hopefully he can do it again this season. Thomas Hughes has been absolutely superb in pre-season too. Look at this. 6 goals and 6 assists. I nearly said 6 goals. 6 assists in pre-season in 7 games. He's another player that I really want to see if he could just improve that little bit more, reach his potential, and hopefully carry on with us into the Vanarama National League in the future. So the club legend Thomas Hughes continues. As we said, Lloyd Marsh Hughes is going to start today in the number 10 role. I think I'm going to put him in as a shadow striker. Can he play shadow striker? Well, apparently he can't. He's down here maybe as a false 9, but he's not particularly good at that as a pressing forward. Or what about actually? It's because I'm not on there. Yeah, he can play shadow striker. So yeah, shadow striker. Apart from the lack of dribbling and maybe the first touch, he's a little bit lacking. But in terms of that off the ball to make those runs in behind, I think he can do a very similar job to Ronan Marr. Ronan Marr, by the way, did not accept our contract offer. He has gone to, I think it was Eastbourne in the Vanarama National League. So he is not continuing with us. But we've got Lloyd Marsh Hughes, so we're happy with that. And then James Price, the ex-Chelsea man, will make his debut up front. I really hope he can come good. We'll look at the squad in a second to see how the contracts look. But he is, yeah, our biggest earner. So under a bit of pressure there. George Ray on the bench, who we've obviously just looked at. King James has signed a new contract. He did have offers from lower down the pyramid, so I offered him a new contract to keep him around. Fortunately, he's accepted, and he is here for this season on £275 a week, our 32-year-old captain. I think he's still going to have a big part to play. I did struggle finding defensive midfielders as good as him, so he continues. Morton Spencer, with the new additions of Lloyd Marsh Hughes an earring. I think Morton Spencer might be getting more limited opportunities this season. We'll see how it goes for him, but I mean, he's still a decent enough player as a box-to-box midfielder or as the advanced playmaker. I think he can still have a decent impact for us this season. The ex-Leeds man, Diamond Edwards, the diamond in the rough, is on the bench. He could get his debut today. And I put Jordan Ponticelli on the bench as well. He's had a decent pre-season, 3 in 5. And I mean, he gives us cover on the right wing and as a striker. Yeah, just thought of the options we had. It was either him or Leo Gaxa to be on the bench for this opening game of the season. I've gone with Jordan just by the fact he's been on decent form. If we look at the rest of the squad, Kevin Loco is still with us. He's outside of the matchday squad, and he's wanted by a number of clubs. Look, and Chorley, Weymouth and Darlington, they're all pretty good names, so hopefully they don't come in for him. And also Emmanuel Onoriassi, who was one of our starting centre-backs last season. He's another player who's had an awesome pre-season, but with the 2 defensive additions that I've made, I feel like he just has to be the player to miss out. So he is on the transfer list. We've listed him. His value was up at 150,000. I offered him out for that, and there were absolutely no takers, and he was disappointed at having such a high value. So we negotiated down to about 72,000. Nobody wanted to take at that either. And now Western Supermare are the only interested club in maybe taking him on loan. So yeah, I'd like to get him off the books. Just I'm one too many in defence, and he is expecting to be a starter. So it's much better that he leaves. He is still a very, very good defender. He's just not quite as good as the new boys that we've brought in. So unfortunately, Emmanuel Onoriassi looks like he's probably going to leave. The Twin Towers being broken up, but well, we'll see what happens. I guess if Kevin Loco were to leave, having Onoriassi around wouldn't be too bad. Jim Fenlon is out of the matchday squad now that we can only have 5 substitutes. Unfortunately, Luke Warner-Ellie has signed a new contract. Really good backup left back. Pleased to have him around. He did have interest from other clubs, so I offered him a new contract, and that's the good thing is he is now happy to be a fringe player, so we're not going to have him too upset if he's not playing every week. Jack Brown is unfortunately injured. He is back in a couple of weeks' time, so he misses the opening of the season. Again, another club legend. Mark Miller, who is now 17, the central midfielder. He really didn't improve last season, but with our extra coach and improved coaching quality, I have seen a couple of little yellow arrows, so hopefully he is now going to start to develop and fulfill his potential. I think he can be an absolutely incredible player for us. Outside of that, Leo Gaxa is on the bench, or sorry, he's out. Let's start again. He is not on the bench. He is out of the matchday squad. He's another one that I'm happy to keep around, but I just had to decide between him and Ponticelli for today's matchday squad. Ponticelli won it. He's been okay in pre-season, 3 in 7, playing on the left wing, so hopefully he'll be a decent squad option through the season. The only other one I want to mention here is Paul Glaxall. You remember that he's been released by Liverpool, the 23-year-old. At the start of this season, he didn't want anything to do with us. He was not interested in trying out with a club at our level. He has since, having not found himself a club and not having anyone interested right now, he has agreed to join us on trial. I did offer him a contract straight up, but he wanted, I think, about £750 a week. I'm hoping by the end of his trial, he'll drop his demands to maybe 500, 550. If he drops to that, I can just about make it work in the budget and bring him in. So that's where we are. We have added coaches. We have added a new head scout. The only other thing I will mention for this part 1 of today's episode is the bank balance. We are still 100,000 in debt. You can see right now we are about £400, sorry, under the weekly wage budget. So if I were to bring Paul Glatzel in for 550, I would have to let somebody go. Maybe Leo Gaxa, maybe Ponticelli, or if we get rid of Onoriassi, that would sort that problem out completely. But right now I'm under the wage budget, which is really, really good. Hopefully we'll see how everything goes as the season goes on. Yeah, so really that's where we are. We are playing Guiseley. Click on the link for part 2 of today's episode to see how we get on in that game. Great to be back for season 4. We're going to see how it goes. We are expected to at least make the playoffs. I really hope we can just blast this division straight through and get straight up into the National League. We'll see what happens. If you've enjoyed this episode, and if you are enjoying the series, drop a like on it and subscribe to the channel. We will see you very, very soon in part 2 of today's episode to kick off season 4 of Dog Turds into Diamonds. See you very shortly.